Welcome to Self-Perfected.
No.
Now we are.
Hey everybody.
Now we're bussing.
I'm bussing. I'm busting out the seams because of all that dinner I ate last night.
Bro, you had a heavy dinner too? We did too.
Hey, we did too.
What did you have? Let's go around the circle and talk about what we have for dinner first.
Okay,
Okay.
so we had a ribeye that we prepared here in our cast iron with grilled zucchini and mushrooms, sauteed mushrooms in a wine sauce, and garlic bread. It was super delicious, very
Some
filling.
guac.
Okay, let me
and
guess.
Guac, homemade guac with the garlic bread. Wow, it all went really well.
How long does it take you to make this stuff? Jesus Christ.
Well, they don't.
Christine made. Okay, let me guess.
30.
Christine made the bread.
Yes.
No.
Well,
Drake.
actually, it was more like we got some bread from the
Oh,
grocery
okay.
So she just
So-
ordered all of it from
I-
Outback
I just assumed it
Steakhouse.
was- you just basically got Outback takeout.
Yeah. How'd you know it was Outback?
Takeout that.
I have their menu.
I've
The background
never
of
been
it.
to Outback. I've never even been to Outback. But
No,
we
we
made
haven't.
we brought it home.
I don't
You know?
take
Okay.
Christine to shitty restaurants. So I
This is
have a
true.
rule. Although she sometimes invites me to shitty restaurants. And
What's the last shitty restaurant Christine invited you to? I need to know.
we went so okay. To be fair to Christine, she just said she wanted brunch, right? She has this thing where she's like, I want brunch sometimes. And I'm like, all right, fine, we'll go to fucking brunch. Find a place.
It's my favorite meal to go out
Do
for.
you say it like that, or you're like, fucking okay? I'm gonna fucking.
That's
brunch."
exactly how I say it. Every time.
Like, why do you have such a resentment towards brunch?
Because usually it's like, okay, it's usually before the podcast, and like, she's like, because
What?
it's either like on a Saturday,
He said,
when,
"What?"
like we have Clubhouse, or it's on a Sunday.
Oh,
we have
okay.
the
So it's like you have
podcast.
something you have to do after.
Oh,
it's like,
okay. So there's a little time.
The thing,
crunch.
okay,
Okay.
the only reason why I ask on the weekend though is because in Orlando, apparently there's only brunch available on the weekends.
Hmm.
Where I come from in Toronto, we have plenty of spots that are open throughout the week. But apparently in Orlando, it's not that popular.
What do you do? But what do you do when you're done brunch?
Dude, okay. Did you read Kristen's? First off, Kristen had an amazing post in the parenting group. Shout out to Kristen. Beautiful. Did you read it though, Cam?
Which part?
Towards
Just
the
like
end.
the actual post part?
Yeah, the actual post part.
Oh.
Towards the end. There's a line in there, and it was like, when we were done that, we took a deep breath. Right. And I was gonna highlight it and send it to you because I was like, well,
So for those who have no context, we're talking about the weird habit that Canadians have of leaving out the preposition with in certain contexts, and it's very strange to hear that from Americans.
yeah,
Right? Like they'll say, when I'm done dinner," and we would not say it like that. We would say when I'm done with dinner.
right.
So it's very weird.
It's funny because we tried to explain it to a German speaker, and he was like, I don't get it. It's just like, okay.
I was talking to Trey though, and he was like, "Well, it's like in the UK if they're like, I'm going to hospital."
Oh.
Like they would say something like that in the UK.
Or how some people say they're gonna go ride bike. Like Chantel says that and Jess says that. I think it's like a small town thing.
Is it
Really?
Ride bike, yeah. I'm like, ride the bike.
a Midwest
I
thing?
think they're like, no, ride bike.
Do you say that? I can't tell if Jess is reacting to she doesn't say that or she's like, what's wrong with that?
Second
But
one.
also maybe they just call their bike.
Okay,
bike.
wait.
Yeah, it's like a name for it. You know how like kids
gonna
For
ride bike then?
bicycle.
I want to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ride bike.
Yeah.
So you're okay with that?
She's okay with it.
She's
That's
like,
basically
"Wait."
what she's saying.
At least she had a moment of pause. With the Canadians, they're just like, no, what's the problem?
I
So,
mean,
so you're saying it is normal, Jess, or no?
It's totally normal.
All
100%.
right.
Yeah.
I'm
Cam's
just
like,
announcing
"Wow."
I'm resigning from the podcast.
Why would you? But in that context, okay, if I'm gonna go for a bike ride, right? If I say I'm gonna go ride bike,
Okay, what do
What
you
would you add to that sentence to
ride
describe?
the
My
bike?
bike.
Ride my
My
bike, ride a
bike.
bike, ride your
What
bike.
if it's like,
Ride
What
your
my
bike.
brain would do, I'll
But
just take
it's-
us what my brain would do.
it's
It would consider proper grammar. No, it would apply said grammar
Okay.
rules.
okay, but
Okay, hang
but
on, hang on,
it's
hang on, hang
like,
on.
I'm not saying I'm gonna go ride the bike or I'm gonna go ride my bike. I'm saying I'm gonna go for a bike ride.
so-
I'm just
so-
leaving
so
out
what-
But you
ride.
didn't. You said
do
I'm
you
going to go
say?
for a ride bike.
What do you say when you're gonna read a book? What
You
do you
said
say when you're gonna read a book?
and you
I'm
said
gonna
bike.
go read.
Read book? Read a book?
What would you say, Jess?
Yeah.
How about read the blogs? Are you gonna go read blogs? Well, I guess that one.
You could say read blogs.
Yeah, she is right.
There's an S at the end. Right?
You
There's
would
an
say
S.
I'm going to go read blog.
Yeah. Would you say that?
This is a very interesting conversation.
How about
Hey,
how
for
about
dinner, we had some Indian food, and I will be honest, considering the price point, it was a very nice restaurant. They had tablecloths, the lighting fixtures were stunning, like beautifully done. They had really nice artwork. The floors were pristine, like they were super clean.
the waiter was literally sweating. He was running around.
Not
He
too
was
bad, though.
waiting the whole-
Bit of perspiration at the top. Nothing
That man
dripping.
was
Nothing
that
dripping.
man. I gave him a good tip.
But I'm telling
He
you,
was waiting the whole restaurant.
I've never seen a waiter work as hard ever in my entire life. And not only him, but there was the hostess who was helping wait. And then there was the drink waiter, and then there was the food waiter. And that was it for the whole restaurant. And they were bussing. Like Christine mentioned at the beginning of the call, they were like the definition of bussing. It was insane.
I ordered a 6 spicy. It hurt.
Okay, we also ordered like 3 entrees, 3 kinds of naan. We also ordered I think we had an appetizer of some kind. And then we also had they had homemade ice cream for dessert. It was amazing.
Aristotle loved it.
10 out of 10 experience. Aristotle was laughing with all the people, interacting with all of them. He had rice.
Jess was
and
literally
ice
going up to tables like, "What did you order?" And then they're like giving her food.
I was just like curious because it looked good. I was like, what is this on the menu? And they were telling me, and then I went to the next table and I was like, oh, what kind of bread is that? Because it was like, you could like break it apart very easily. It was not like naan, it was something else. And they're like, oh,
Like,
you want to
was it
try
at the
some?
beginning?
This was before we started eating, yeah, and I was walking around with Aristotle. And I was like,
Yeah,
just
I forget
curious
what they
on
call that stuff.
whatever,
yeah.
and ate. Oh, yeah.
wasn't
I don't
good.
know what it was called, but it
It's
kind
usually
of
like they have an appetizer with this flaky bread. It's like a really crispy flaky bread, and then they have
Yeah.
like 2 little sauces, a green and sort of.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
it would be
exactly-
good with the
Red sauce.
sauces.
that's
little too
exactly what
oniony.
it was.
Little
But it
too-
was
Have you guys never been to Indian food before?
Oh my
Oh.
god, Cameron! I live at the Indian restaurant.
Oh, I was just saying because all that's normal for an Indian restaurant.
I
was
Not
like,
the
how
not the
dare you?
tablecloths.
I was telling Mitchell, I was like,
You're like,
he
you won't
always-
believe it. They had this curry stuff. There was like a curry.
Is this
Okay,
like-
Mitchell only gets 2 things from an Indian restaurant. He
Guess
gets
what they are? Guess what they put in the
Butter
comments. What do you
chicken.
think I go?
Butter chicken for sure.
No, damn. I should be getting that. Let's go for Indian again today.
Is it? Did you get tikka? Chicken tikka?
yes,
Yeah, that's
chicken
fine.
tikka masala, and there's one more.
Okay.
You got to
Is
be
it
a
like
little bit
dish
more.
or-
Korma?
It's a dish. What'd you
Dish?
say?
No,
I was
What
gonna
is
say
it?
korma.
Some sort
yeah.
of korma?
Yeah, that one.
It is korma. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Jess is
Shahi
like,
Oh,
Okay, but that's like saying
Pronounce
when
it
I go to
different.
McDonald's, I get 2 things. Can you possibly guess? You're like burger and fries. You're like, wow, your powers of intuition are astounding.
okay,
Females
so
intuition.
it's like, hey babe, you gotta switch it up. You gotta get something else.
Right.
And he gets this.
She sold me hard on it, and I was like,
Hey, we had Tibetan food in La Jolla. Guess what Mitch got? It was just Indian food, but they would put
Predictable.
Himalayan in the name sometimes. But yeah.
Predictable. Okay, so he gets this chili chicken, and it's amazing. I loved it, and I was eating some of his chili chicken. I got something new that I liked, and he was like, I could just tell he was not satisfied.
Okay.
His-
I know if I get tikka masala, I'm gonna have a solid 9 out of 10 on my dopamine points. So I just know that like I'm good. then you can experiment. Sometimes it might be a little bit more than a
Anyways.
9.
Anyways, we
It wasn't.
literally had to call the waiter over and was like, hey.
I was like, hey, can you bring me the tikka masala sauce so I can just pour
He's
it
like,
on
Mm.
it?
we make it to orders. You have to make like order a whole
Yeah.
order of it in order to
They
get
don't
it.
do it that way.
That
And-
sucks.
And that's why we got the 3 entrees. So I'm like, babe, we got leftovers for lunch today. We got a whole meal's worth. It was great.
So
So
I think that's
Was
the
it
whole
gross or just disappointing, the chili chicken?
No, it was okay.
It just
was
didn't
okay.
satisfy
Isn't it more like a dry
Indian
dry
It tasted
chicken?
like Chinese food without MSG.
Yeah. I was gonna say the East Chinese cuisine
is-
has that chili chicken.
You
It
They
was
have like
really
a
good.
more
You mean
Indian
East
style
Indian?
of Chinese food.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good. It was really good. I loved it, but I could tell that his like Indian food desire wasn't going to be satisfied through that entree. So I encouraged him like just get the tikka masala. Because otherwise, like later this week, he's gonna be like, hey, we should go back to that Indian restaurant.
Yeah,
So I was like,
that's so
all
funny
right,
how
just
that
get it.
so.
Is that this?
Remember-
is that the
remember when we-
restaurant that we went to? Near like.
No.
But it was also called
Way
India Palace.
better. Same
No, the
name.
one in Minneapolis was good.
It's okay.
That was pretty good. We liked it.
Ah.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway,
India Palace.
there's
Yeah,
like,
By
probably
the way,
5 in every city.
apparently Joe Jackman also
what's he
says the
saying?
same thing.
Okay, that's because he's also from
From
he
the same-
lives in small town Minnesota or North Dakota. You see, Chantel says it too. Chantel. if
So
you-
maybe it's like a Canadian influence.
I'm going
I
to
think it is
go
a
ride
Canadian.
bike. Joe,
But we don't say that at all.
Yeah, but see, y'all are the only ones.
You
who
don't say you're gonna go ride bike?
No.
What would you say?
No. I'm gonna go ride my bike.
Okay, okay.
I'm going
Bruce
to
and Kristen.
go on my velocipede.
Bruce and Kristen, what do you say
I'm gonna
when
go
you're
ride
riding a
bike.
bike?
Hold on,
I'm
Christine.
gonna go for a
Christine,
bike
that same
ride.
reaction that you just
No.
had of like, I'm gonna go ride my bike.
That's
the
how
same way
we-
I
Yeah.
feel when you're like, I'm done my book. Like, what?
Wait, what did you just say?
She'll say,
Wait.
I'm done my book. When I'm done my book, I'll go do this. Yeah.
Wait.
Are you serious, Christine?
Okay,
Okay, but
Jess,
it's
that
not
same
just
reaction you
me.
just had is like when you say I'm gonna go ride bike.
Immediate blame. That should be a GIF right there when you're like,
Like you're
I'm
saying it as
done
if
with my
bike is
book.
like a category or something, or it's like some activity.
This is so
Okay.
weird.
Which it is, but
Yes,
you don't
but-
say it in that grammatic, it's just grammatically totally incorrect. But this Canadian thing is a widespread Canadian thing. Drake thought it was an island thing because he heard the Nazaralis say it. So he was like, oh, Christine's from Guyana, like it must be a Guyanese thing. Then he hears, I think Owen starts saying the same types of,
Wait,
I don't know
You're
who
from
else
Guyana?
started saying it, but I had to look it up. 'cause I was
You're
my
from
dad
Guyana?
is. My dad is.
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did and I just suppressed it.
yeah.
But
Why
your
would
other
you
partner
suppress
fam is
them?
from Venezuela, right?
Yeah, my
Yes.
mom's side.
Okay,
but
so I knew
they were
that
both
part.
immigrants to Canada. Like they were both born in
He's
their
first
respective
generation.
countries.
First generation, and then, well, I could.
Wow, but your English is so good. Well, except for the obvious flaws that we have discovered.
Gotcha.
You know, it's-
Okay, but then what did we discover? The whole Williams family from British Columbia, which is like way on the other
Yeah.
side of Canada, also says the same thing.
Except for Kim, who's a Vietnamese immigrant who studied English in books.
No, actually,
And
I was talking
Avery
with Kim
is
on the
from the
phone. I was
island.
talking with Kim on the phone, and she says the same thing, and I was like,
She did?
Whoa,
With
Kim,
Kim?
what was that?
She did actually say it.
She said it, and I was like,
This
Yeah,
is so
but-
Well,
weird.
she's like-
I would never say book like that, but I'll definitely say bike like that.
she said something like when Avery's done. Oh,
His
man.
book?
No,
No, he's like filling gas or
he's like
something.
filling gas or something like that. So like, but I forgot the way she said it exactly. I was just like, "Whoa, what did you say?" But yeah,
Hmm.
they all do it. All the Canadians.
Anyway.
So Cameron, what did you eat last night?
Oh, Katie made homemade hot dog buns. She cooked up these kielbasas and she made a potato salad with potatoes from a friend's garden in town. We just don't have our potatoes yet. So it was like those, what are those ones that are like have the red skin around them?
Oh, yum.
I think it's those kind. I just forget what they're called, huh?
Red potatoes.
I guess so, yeah. Those little small ones, right?
Yeah.
It was like a potato salad with homemade
Red
mayonnaise, homemade mayonnaise, dill from the garden, and homegrown cucumbers.
Oh.
She didn't put celery in it because she knows I don't like celery, but now she knows I also don't like cucumbers in a potato
Cucumbers.
salad.
Did you say cucumbers?
No, I said-
Cucumbers?
No, I said cucumba.
Cameron,
That's how you say it.
We're just gonna rip apart how everybody says everything.
Cucumba.
Hilarious.
Okay, so and then also there was,
supposed to get the
was something
crunch.
else. Oh, and she made meringue cookies with eggs from the
hey,
from the
Cameron,
garden.
Cameron.
Yes.
It's a potato salad.
Potato
And you're
salad.
gonna have no crunch because you don't want cucumber.
I know that was
You
her
don't want
argument.
celery, and you wouldn't want onions because I know you.
Correct.
So where are
Well,
you gonna
that's
get a
probably
crunch
why he
from?
doesn't want
I'm okay
celery.
without the crunch. Well, but there's bacon in it.
Mm.
Let's make crispy bacon.
Crunchy
Why
bacon.
not
That's a
just-
very
I'm cool with
weird
that.
potato salad.
bacon from our pig.
Okay.
So it was
Cheeto
a pretty
bacon.
legit dinner. And the milk that we drink was from our cow.
Wow. 10 out of
Delicious.
10.
And I had 3 hot dogs.
Nice.
All in
What
one
did you-
bun or in 3 buns?
What did you put on top of your
Like
It's like
3
Kobe
buns, but all
guy.
at one
Were they
time.
chili hot dogs or were they did you put baked beans on top of the hot dogs?
Oh,
just-
and there was baked beans, but we didn't grow those. They were just from a can.
Mm. So
No,
what did
it
you
was
put
just-
on top of your hot dog though?
Well, I just put ketchup.
Just ketchup?
That's
Wow.
all I put on a hot dog. Sometimes I'll put cheese, but I didn't put any cheese.
Apparently that's sacrilegious in Chicago. Putting ketchup on your hot dog.
Yeah.
It's like
Ooh.
only mustard.
I just got
Are you aware of
chilled.
this, Mitch?
Yeah, I know there's a whole
Oh, yeah.
debate, but I mean, I'm from Texas, so we do what we want.
Right. That's what I told Christine.
Yeah.
I was like, we live in Florida. Okay.
No, I
can
put
whatever the
ketchup on
fuck
my
I
hot
want
dog as
on my
well.
hot
I put
dog.
everything on my hot dog.
I put
Like
ketchup,
mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
mustard,
mayo.
ketchup, and relish.
That's-
But I don't know about
That's sus. Sussy.
Hey. Hey, you know what Max has become very obsessed with eating lately?
What?
Tuna fish, like mixed with mayo and relish on a cracker.
Mm.
I'm
He
not
freaking
going to
loves
comment.
it.
That
He
is
loves it.
actually the grossest thing I could imagine.
So
He
bad.
lo- I
I used to
actually
eat
like.
that
I don't
on-
like relish, but
That's
Yeah. I used to
actually
eat
the
that as
most.
a
he
kid.
loves it.
Without the
He
relish.
loves it.
That's every food I don't like. Oh, except crackers. I eat the crackers.
I don't like
It was
tuna from
like-
a
You don't like
can.
relish?
I don't like
No.
mayo.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
do.
prefer
I've made homemade
relish.
relish
Okay,
that you've
homemade
ate
relish.
before.
But that with mayo and tuna. Wow. Go Max. That's impressive.
He loves it. I was kind of
That
surprised
sounds
that he
I
liked
think
it.
amazing.
I think I'd vomit.
No, I like. I just don't like relish, but other than that, yeah, it's good. I know you
Yeah,
gotta have
Guys
the
with their
crunch.
particular palates. I don't eat cucumber. I don't eat
Cucumba.
and I don't eat
And I
Celery.
ride bike.
Why am I like a Cockney
both.
British? I don't eat celery, mate. That's what I say. Like anytime I express dissatisfaction with a meal, that's the accent I use.
Anytime I'm trying to like make a good meal, that's the accent that I use. Like when I'm making my steak, I'm like, all right, rosemary in
that was like Australian.
time.
Yeah,
in.
you got a little Australian.
All right.
It's my Gordon Ramsay, okay?
It's funny. You
Hey, do
guys
you know
are
how
not
to
the only
say-
ones that said Australian. It sounds like an Australian accent. Drake thinks it's British though.
It's my Gordon Ramsay. That's what he sounds like specifically. I can do a
Um,
British accent. It's different
Does he though? Does Gordon Ramsay sound
He's
Australian?
British.
to me.
No, he's British.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
He is the most British.
Hey, was I talking with you, Drake, about Steve Irwin?
Yeah, we were
That
talking about
we were talking about that because we saw
Yeah.
a Stingray and we were talking about that, right? Just
Yeah.
thought this morning when I woke up, like, because apparently like a Stingray killed him, right? And you were telling me this whole point about how he was like not down with climate, no, not down with veganism.
right.
Right. And I was like, dude, do you think that Stingray was part of the Illuminati?
Yes.
Maybe it was like a remote control one, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Stingray killing him is very uncommon for a
Yeah.
Stingray to even attack a
Hey,
human.
they're on the Destiny website. Isn't there some interview with Steve Irwin?
Yeah.
He's got lots.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them. Yeah.
Dang.
Oh, we
He's one
should
with the
listen-
bees now.
You read it. It's actually one of the
You read it.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
There used to be video, but the Destiny website or the Destiny YouTube channel had like a bunch of videos on it. Like I'm gonna say like 1,000. It was like
On
crazy.
Steve Irwin?
No,
No,
just
just generally.
Oh.
It had a bunch. Like
Steve Irwin really had something to say.
Steve
You
Irwin
say
was-
what?
it's
they
like-
got taken down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember the day.
Oh, that
Wasn't it
What
right
date was
after?
it?
What was it right after Bernie Boy was talking about?
There's 3 days I really vividly remember in my life. When JFK was shot, 9/11, and the day that Destiny YouTube channel got taken down.
Those are
It's
some
just I
intense
remember
days.
exactly where I was.
Did they not have the videos archived somewhere?
Doesn't even.
Oh yeah, they
include
have
the-
them all. It's just wasn't on, not on YouTube anymore. You know?
Doesn't even include the birth of his children.
Why don't they?
Where were you on those days?
They should put them on
Don't
EQUA,
remember.
the audios.
I'm sure you can message Guion and put in a
Yeah.
request.
All right.
Leon, if you're listening,
This is Jessica's formal request.
So
so what have we
Yeah,
been up
is
to
that it?
recently? I think we missed last week's podcast. I don't know why.
Yeah, you guys weren't on. I started it, but you guys didn't.
Rick was just
show up.
alone in his hotel
did
room.
we just forget or what?
Really, Drake? Because I thought I saw you speaking on stage. You were like doing a sermon or something.
Yeah, you're getting people to dance.
I feel like that would have been like later on in the day. I started the podcast, the time we usually have it, because I was
That's
in
true.
California.
Oh,
Hey, I was in
Yeah.
California too.
wait. You guys were in California too?
We shared a hotel room. How do you not remember this?
I remember you were. Obviously. Well, I
Wait,
mean,
Drake, what she's saying is you were apparently not memorable.
It's
That's what she's saying.
okay. It's okay. I had a lapse in my memory as well. It
A
was
lapse?
just so much fun. Yeah, that's what they call it, a lapse.
I thought you
Yeah.
said louse. I was like,
A louse. Yeah,
A louse.
I had lice.
One single-
Lice in my memory.
I had memory lice. No,
That sounds like
We
a cool
had-
sci-fi thing.
That should be the name of this episode.
Memory lice. Damn, got it done.
Totally
it
confused
down.
everybody.
I'm gonna put it in the
Alright.
chat so you remember.
it's the title of the episode apparently.
Memory lice. That's good. I like it. I'm gonna, yeah.
Has nothing to
I
do
bet
with
the
the
people.
episode.
I bet there's some people listening to this who are just so antsy right now. He's like, when the fuck are they gonna start talking about that event?
Oh, I'll tell you about the event.
Okay,
I'll
wait,
tell you
wait,
about the event.
Which event are we talking about?
Because there was
Just
many
so
events.
Lots of events happen in my life. Like
Yeah, I need to know what event we're talking about.
I think we should talk about the self-perfected event.
Oh, that one.
Which part of it? Which part of it? Like Tuesday when we all arrived.
from like the Friday hangout yesterday. Or the other day, 2 days ago.
Yeah, we did talk about it on
The
Friday
live
Hangout.
event. The live event.
Oh, no, the
you
live
have-
event. The in person, the enter the 1%, that one.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah,
not
yeah.
like the live streamed.
No.
Yeah, why haven't we talked about that yet? It was huge.
It was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
I can't tell if Mitch doesn't understand we're being sarcastic or if he's like doing meta sarcasm. That's like next level, man.
Okay,
See, I'm telling you, if I was a meme, I think I'd be that meme with that guy who's doing that.
I can
Yeah.
attest. Mitchell is always doing meta sarcasm.
Yeah, it actually
Always,
really fucks with
all
people.
day.
It like you ever do the sarcasm thing and you can tell it didn't land, but then for a moment they're like, wait, I think he's being sarcastic, but they don't know how to put it into words. Yeah, that's like my whole life.
I never think you're being sarcastic, Mitch. I
No,
always
I-
think you
Yeah,
just
me
Have
neither.
you ever been sarcastic? Because
Exactly,
I'm
that's the
very
meta.
confused.
You don't even know.
I'm putting that one through my TT. That's good.
Post sarcasm.
Mitch is actually writing this down.
He actually is.
I'm actually gonna put that through my TT.
He's like, I have to work on my sarcasm game.
No,
It's
just
too
needs to
advanced.
work on
You have
his
to come
game.
back.
We just
Yeah,
need to
but-
educate the planet so they can
Yeah,
appreciate
okay.
my sarcasm all the time.
Sure.
The only thing he needs to work on is this handwriting right now. I cannot read what he just did.
He's
I even
practicing
I,
it.
Apparently,
know what you put, and I can't even read
He
it.
was taking like stenographer classes and he didn't realize it.
How
so
do you
he's, like,
guys hold a
shorthanded.
pencil? How do you guys hold a pencil? This is even more important than the event right now.
Yeah.
How do you hold? a
Apparently, you're
pencil?
supposed to hold it like this with that,
Where's
but I hold it
This
like
is how I
that.
did.
Yeah. I don't do what you do, Cameron.
see
So what do
I
you do?
Pencil.
I'm gonna.
I
Isn't
can't
that
even
what you just
explain
did? Isn't that what you just did?
No,
No.
no,
He does it
your
with two fingers.
your middle finger would be over to it would actually be resting on your ring finger.
I'm about to fuck everyone up. This is how I
You're
write.
supposed to do it like this?
I really like
Uh,
this.
Or is this how you do it?
Cameron,
Says
Cameron,
This is
yeah,
how
that's
you-
how I do it. That's how I do it.
Oh,
Jess and I think we write the same. Jess and I.
You put your thumb
I mean,
on
like-
top.
Well, no,
I
her
can-
Oh, no, I
thumb
don't
is
put my
like
thumb
on top.
That is weird. That is weird. How do
here's
you
how
do
left.
that?
Here's how left-handed people write. Seriously, they're like this.
So that's what you're apparently supposed to do.
And then their arm
I do
just
that.
gets full of ink.
Well, that's why they do this. It's like they're trying to avoid the.
Yeah.
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 Apparently, there's a bunch of presidents who are left-handed. I don't know. Do you hear that?
The Illuminati.
I think
Yeah,
they're
there's something about the
forced,
Illuminati
they're
with that.
forced to be left-handed.
Left is the word for left in Latin is sinister.
Yo.
So I noticed Latanya was left-handed.
Wow,
Ooh.
Latanya.
I don't even know what you guys said.
So anyway,
Our mic can't even pick up.
Meta sarcasm. The mic can't even pick up our levels of sarcasm.
Watch out.
All right,
What does sarcasm even mean?
Okay, what about
What
this
about this-
event?
Damn event.
back
yeah.
to talking about what we were doing
Okay,
last
okay,
weekend.
okay, okay. Okay. So it all
Ye-
started on Tuesday, right? Flying to San Diego. I'm looking out at the skyline. I'm like, this is amazing. Show up at the airport. I'm like, we can't even get an Uber because we got this baby. And they're like, no, you can't even, you can't get in here. Sorry. We
Okay.
load all the bags into the van.
I-
And the guy's like, you cannot get in
It
here
was a woman.
because you have, you
I
never know. It's
I
California.
searched and
You just
It
always assume
said-
the opposite.
it said that you could order an Uber specifically with a car seat.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, great. I will first. We'll just order a Uber with a car seat once we get
Where's
there.
that option?
Okay. Only in New York City.
And they said we had, and it was only in New York City. So I was like, oh, well, that's not going to work. So we finessed our way to the resort. And then Aristotle and I were at the resort.
Wait,
for the
whoa,
rest
whoa,
of the
whoa,
week.
whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa,
But
whoa.
that's
You
I said
totally
for the rest
forgot
of the week.
about then we called Cameron.
I was
We're
gonna
like,
say,
we got an idea. And he's like, hey, I'm at the airport. We're like, wow, good timing. Then we
You guys
all
literally-
piled in.
You guys are at the airport the exact same time we were.
Yeah.
yeah.
So then
But
we
actually,
all,
all we did was just order a cab
yeah.
or a shuttle. I guess it was like a shuttle van.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
big shuttle van. Yeah.
And
So
man,
that's-
does Cameron's family know how to pack? They had a whole suitcase apparently for the coffee maker. I don't know.
It's true.
I did,
I did
That's
hear
true.
about this. I did hear about this.
and
just
and
really
part
like
of
to
it
have
went into
Chemex.
Max's.
yeah.
That was the grinder. Yeah. We really just like Chemex coffee. So
It sounds so industrial.
I was questioning
does.
Katie. I was like, so you guys think you might have like an addiction? Brought a whole fucking suitcase just for
That's right.
coffee.
it was just a small carry-on.
Okay. When you
Yeah.
also though, when you have that many
Did they ask you to open it at the security?
You know what's funny about it is like I had brought 2 bags of pills, like, and I don't take a lot of pills except I have some probiotic things that I take. They're just like these little probiotic things. They're really good. I take those, and then I have some digestive aids that are made by the same company that I take just every once in a while before a meal if I think it's something I'm not gonna be able to digest effectively. So I had 2 bags full of pills, right? And
There's that techno tutor guy with all those
Hold
pills.
on. Hold on. And okay. And there was like coffee in there because like what coffee normally would be like used to like hide the smell of drugs or whatever, right? So I
Yeah.
had that in there. And then
Oh,
so
Jesus.
that bag, they like took it aside and everything. All she did was open up the top flap, take out the baby wipes, wipe the baby wipes with like the little
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
pad, and then put them back in and then test that. I'm like, that's what you were concerned about? The baby wipes?
Oh, I guess because they have
Bags
like
of
or
pills?
something.
She didn't care
Wow.
about the pills.
They did something similar to my bag too. I had a bunch of pills, like just like my prenatals, all that kind of stuff. And then out of all the things that they took out was my vitamin C powder, but I had this like other magnesium powder that looks even more sketchy than the vitamin C powder. Anyways, And
You know
it's so
also
funny
was
because it
weird?
only happened on our way out of San Diego, not on our way to.
We don't really fly that much because we have, we always have like a baby. And so
Just always have a baby.
we obviously flew this time, but I mean, like, in the past, like couple years, we would drive to trips, generally speaking. And so I haven't flown in a while, but it's like they always seem like they're changing up the rules because they're like, now if you're under 12, you don't have to take your shoes off. And I thought you have to take all the laptops out, put them each in their own thing, which we did on the way there. But on the way back, he was like, "Oh, just leave them all in the bag."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Do you do the opt?
And for
this is a
California, I
real
thought that
question.
was weird.
So
Do you do the opt-out?
Every airport does something a little bit different.
I can go
Hey,
through
but
that
do
microwave.
you guys have TSA pre-check?
Yeah.
we
don't
have
have
TSA
it.
pre-check.
Also,
Yeah.
they
Because
just let
we
pregnant
don't-
women
we-
go through that radiation machine. I was shocked. I was like I asked to opt out of that scanny thingy. I was like, that's fucked up that you won't let little kids and dogs in there, but you'll let a pregnant lady in there.
Yeah.
So
When you
Yeah.
have kids under 12, nobody has to go through it in the family.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
oh, cool.
So when you have TSA pre-check, usually you go to the airport, and if you go to the pre-check line, they're already putting everyone through the metal detector, not through the scanning thing. That's what's happened to us almost every time.
Oh yeah.
Got TSA
Yeah.
pre-check.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so we don't
then
actually
you don't
have
even
TSA
have to,
pre-check.
you don't have to take off your shoes. You don't have to take anything out of your bags. Like, you don't have to take your belt off. Like,
That's an extra
But-
charge though that you paid for.
I bet there's some terrorists
TSA
listening to our
pre-check is
podcast
like-
going like, "Oh, I
it's
need to
like
get on this TSA
$50
pre-check
every
thing."
3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
$50 every 3 to 5 years. It's like nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we
You just have
hadn't
to pass
flown
like the
enough.
background check and whatnot. So
Can't
I don't know,
pass that.
Christine, you might be in trouble. They'll be like, "Hey, you're Canadian."
Yeah, I'm undocumented right now.
No, it's like it's like an application. There's just one question on it. It says like, "Are you done with the book or done the book?" And like that meme where you're like sweating, like
Oh.
It's like the 2 red buttons. And
yeah.
Wait. We're talking about the event, and we've
Yeah.
only gotten to the airport portion.
No, we
We're
got
still
even
at the PSA pre-check.
So
We haven't even gotten through security yet.
no, so
Although we
in-
did get to the airport somehow.
Yeah, okay. We're on like multiple timelines here, because it's like
It's multi-dimensional resonance
This is a
correction.
Yeah,
multi-dimensional process. This event was. Okay.
Drake and I didn't get there till the evening, so we're on like
Yeah.
a totally different
Yeah,
time.
you
Yeah,
guys-
yeah. So
are way
then
behind.
what happened when you guys arrived? Did we go out to eat that night, or was
No.
that was Wednesday?
They got there like
No, we
8
went
or
out to
I just kept walking around asking everybody, "Hey, do you
We
know
were
when
already
Drake and
sleeping,
Christine
me
are
and
here?"
Aristotle.
And they're like,
No.
"Yeah, tonight." I'm like, "Okay."
Okay, and
And
then
then
it
you
was
ask them
Wednesday.
again 5 minutes
Then-
later.
What did we do Wednesday? We ate dinner. With some more people got there.
Yeah, we ate dinner. Thursday we had the VIP lounge.
No,
That was it, that
Wednesday-
was it. Okay, okay,
no.
okay.
On Wednesday, we were at the pool. And
Oh yeah, that was fun. Aristotle went
it was
swimming for the
Aristotle
first time.
Swimming.
That was
loved
great.
it.
Too bad we don't have like a bunch of pictures and stuff pulled up that we could
Oh,
show.
I got pictures. Oh, the videographer sent us some pictures.
Oh.
Damn, you're only ready for that one yet.
The professional photos, elite.
Here,
Anyways, and then
I'll queue up a few photos.
we on Wednesday night was the first campfire that we had, and that was the
Oh, yeah.
first time that we started staying up really late, and then we just stayed up really late every night thereafter.
So like our family, so Katie and I and the kids, we had a suite and it was like a joining wall with Jess and Mitch's suite. And so, they had like the front porch, and then right to the front porch, then you have like the beach, like this little small
Mhm.
beach. It was really cool. So and they had these little concrete pits on the beach where you could build fires in them. So every night pretty
Mhm.
much we had a fire. That was cool.
It was so cool.
Actually
Was
worked
some-
out really well because it was like a place where everybody who wanted to at the event could come hang out at
After
night
everything.
after things, and then like not be disturbing other people and stuff. It was
And what
pretty
I thought was cool was like the first night we had a decent amount of people, and like we started breaking everyone out right away. Like zombie tag and like all these things where like everyone had to like get physical and break their
Max was
patterns.
selling everyone on zombie tag. It was so much fun.
And then the second night, like there's even more people. The third night, because the second night was Thursday night, right? That we did a campfire. Then we were on the beach. So there's even more people. But then by Friday night, like everyone was there for the event because that was the first day of the event was Friday. And so gradually like, we had more and more people. And then it was like almost 100 people on the beach, all hanging out around the campfire. So like when you're around a campfire and there's 100 people, there's like layers to this, right? You got the first people that are around the first part of the fire. Then you got this part, and then you got the people on the outer layer who are doing whatever. And I was a part of the outer layer usually because I had to have the monitor to see Aristotle sleeping. And so we were doing improv, and the improv was so next level. I'm going to tell you what, I've never done improv.
Okay, it all started because Julius was talking to Marsha, and Marsha's not a native English speaker. And so Julius was like trying to explain to her what is a rhetorical question. And it was like, it was such like a tricky situation. It was really funny. And then somehow we ended up on the topic of like I was turning it into like some sort of improv thing. And I was like, hey, Marsha, have you ever heard of improv? She's like, no. I was like, well, it's improvisation.
She's Chinese,
like,
by the way.
Yeah.
This is like the exact opposite of the Chinese brain.
Yeah.
So improvise.
Like, what does that mean? So then it's like, yeah, you know, like you'd have a situation where someone's pretending to be, you know, a baby, or someone's pretending to be a dragon, or they're like a whale that gets out of the ocean and they have legs, and all of a sudden Julius is like pretending to be a whale getting out of the ocean with legs. I was like, oh, Julius is going for it. All right, cool. So then I was like, okay, Marsha, let's come up with something really funny for Julius to pretend to be. Well, no, actually, after he finished that, then I was like, oh yeah, Julius. And I was like, okay. I was like, Marsha, what do you rate that? 1 means it was really bad. 10 means it was the best performance you've ever seen. And she goes, well,
it was a 0.
She goes,
but I wanted to do it again, so I'll give him a 10.
Yeah. So she's like 10. He's like, yeah. And then it just got out of hand because then Jewel came over, and then Emmy came over.
Ripped him apart. I was like,
yeah, Marsha's a savage. I wasn't expecting them.
Rachel just kept coming up with new prompts of all these really random things and telling there's like probably 8 people around the circle, and he's like, okay, you and you are doing this and this, and you're a square, you're a circle, and you're a diamond, and you're rational, you're depressed, and you're exotic, or you're excitable or something, and your mission is this or something.
No, and the mission was they had to go, because Maddie didn't want to do it. So we're like, okay, your mission is you have to go find the leprechaun who put the spell on you to turn you into shapes. And Maddie is the leprechaun. It got out of hand.
She had the potion of turn them back into humans.
Yeah, because Latanya is like a professional actor.
Oh, it was so Latanya was on point.
Yeah,
on point. Like we okay. Latanya was a star, the shape of a star.
No, it was actually a pentagram. It was no.
Julius was the pentagram.
No. I remember because she was a pentagram, and I was like, and you're actually deep down a Satanist, and it was really funny because she
was a star. She kept going like this.
A pentagram is just a star with a circle.
No, Julius was an octagon.
Yes. Oh yeah, the octagon, and he was like this, just like, I'm an octagon, and his legs too. You can't see my.
It was really funny though, because then he's like, "Stop."
Oh, I see what you're saying, because a pentagram is a star.
Yeah,
it's a star with a circle. Yeah.
Okay, full circle.
I spend a lot of time drawing these in my spare time.
It was so funny. And then
someone's gonna be like, "Oh, see, they got pentagrams at the Self-Perfected event. This is like a Satanist cult over here."
Yeah,
I know.
And
we're like actually just having innocent fun.
Should we share the photos?
Yeah, I'm just trying to airdrop it.
I have one to share with you guys real quick while you're
describing our improv.
Someone just sent it to me.
Can you just share it from your device, not from your phone?
Yeah. You know how well that always works out. I don't know how to explain this photo.
What is happening here?
It's funny because it's
You also have no shoes on, which makes it very questionable.
I just went from the pool over to like the registration area just to see what was going on.
it sounds like you were trying to be one with the Africans. You're like, no shoes, right? It's surrounded by Africans.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah, I can't really explain what was happening in that picture.
It looks
It
like
just
they-
kind of, it was like it was just we just went with it.
it's hilarious.
And then another one of the improv things was me, Julius, and was it Canoe?
Yeah, Canoe.
Canoe? Okay, me, Julius, and it was Canoe.
Anyways, from an
Sure.
outside observer or observation, it was loud from the improv corner.
Yeah,
I'm so
Okay,
surprised. we didn't
like-
get
everybody
that.
would turn and go, "What the fuck is going on?"
Jess was like rolling on the ground at one point. You're like,
That's because
what is happening?
Mitchell told me that I was being born from Julius, my mom. And so I'm like,
Oh no, and it was
okay.
And then it was Matthias. He was
Oh, it
the,
was
he was the
Matthias.
transgender dad,
Yes.
but they didn't know who the dad was. Oh, and then we ended it with the only way that the improv could be up is we either cry or we give you standing ovation. So they had to really go all out.
So this reminds me, like one of the first times, well, not the first time, but like very early on talking to Cam. Cam was like, we hadn't talked in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something like that. Cam's like, "Hey, what have you been up to?" And, and then he asked me a question. And I had no idea what question he asked. I didn't even hear him. I just started talking about improv and all this. And then Cam goes, "What does that have to do with the question I asked you?" And I was like, "You asked a question?" He's like, "Yeah, I just thought like, man, Drake's really into this improv thing. He's taking it to the next level." Because I went for like 5 minutes just talking about improv and I don't know what else. And yeah, that's what this conversation reminds me of right now. You
Anyways,
remember that?
what day are we on now? What day are we talking about the event?
So we've been talking about all the days leading up to the event.
Day one.
Now
Never
we're on
considered the event
Thursday.
itself.
I have these photos, but it's not transferring over.
And then we also were eating really good food the whole time. I will say the resort had some tasty food that you could order at any given point. And usually when you get a pina colada, sometimes it's like not very good. But these pina coladas that they had, I always got the virgin, of course, but ooh,
There we go.
they were tasty pina coladas.
Yeah, they were good. I had the one that was the mix of the pina colada and the
Strawberry
what's the other
daiquiri.
thing.
Yeah, strawberry
I think
daiquiri.
so. It was like a mixture one. It was pretty good.
The lava flow.
Yeah, that one was good too.
No, the lava flow is the one with the alcohol in it that
No.
accidentally got given to Owen.
No, that was what I had without the
But
alcohol. but yeah,
it's the
Yeah, yeah,
mixture
yeah.
of it.
that's the
Yeah.
one I had. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Success. I got it.
Everyone
Let's
ready?
see.
Y'all ready?
So
we're
you
gonna do a
can,
little
so you can
montage.
narrate. You can narrate.
Okay, so
You
this
see
was the
it?
first one. Do you see it?
Yep.
This was us. This was Aristotle's first time getting to meet the Copes. You know, look at us. All right.
Seneca.
Next up. So now this is Jess and Aristotle. That was the first time in the pool. There's Katie in the background with Caius. That's one happy kid.
I think Seneca's in the background with her little floaty on.
Yeah, that was us going out to eat. This will be biased towards me with photos of Jess and Aristotle, but there's definitely some group photos in here. But this is at the resort. This was now, I think, Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like you
This
could
is
see
a great
sunset.
depiction of the weather, maybe 70% of the time in San
Strange,
Diego.
but hey, but the sun did come out the day of the event. which
And
was
then
cool.
it was
Yes.
really scorching hot.
Yes.
Not
It
only
more
that,
than
but,
made
like,
up for it.
I think at one every day for at least an hour or two, it was sunny with no clouds
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, it was enough to get solid sun. So.
and sunburned.
I'm burned.
Yeah. All right, next. This was us at the dinner. This was on Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
So
I remember
was
that.
fun.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what did
it's,
you guys have to eat? Tell us.
I don't even remember. There's some
Oh
muscle.
no, I had octopus.
Beef cheek?
Yeah.
Or is it beef
I had some
cheek?
steak thing.
I had
Iron.
sea bass.
Yeah. So that was good. That was at one of the restaurants on the resort. And then there's Drake. Drake was like, "Hey, I'm gonna put a spell on you," and I was like, "Drake, are you sure?" And he just went for it.
Was this on the way to breakfast?
This
No, I
was actually
think-
on the way back. We were getting ready to take a photo, and I was just gonna troll Drake because he's like, "Hand me the camera," and I was like, "Okay," but it was like supposed to be going the other way, so I got him. That's funny. There's the squad. There's Valley in the background, just like being a master of making shit happen. This was us. We found some guy with the lemon tree, and we know in California nobody has guns, so we are just like, let's just go for it.
I mean, it was Max actually, because he like when he heard there was a lemon tree, he like really wanted to get those lemons.
Yeah,
And we got a bunch of lemons. Yeah.
yeah. So that was pretty epic.
missed that.
Hey, this is I kept explaining this to people, but when you're looking at getting anything to the masses, right, it's like there's this gap in here. So you think about like Uber or iPhone, how now everyone apparently has iPhone or Uber. It's like it starts with the innovators, then the early adopters, and then this chasm where you got to jump over it, and then you get to the early majority, and then it spreads like a virus throughout the population. So I thought that was very pertinent because that's what we're in the process of, and some people don't know this stuff. There's Avery, Max looking.
He's got a lollipop.
Yeah. Look at Max's face. We were gonna yell the word recruit, so that's in the middle of the word recruit. Yeah, but yeah, that was us before the event started. That was us at the registration thing now. Aristotle was modeling hats for us.
That's pretty cute.
This was then VIP.
Nice.
That was
Is
fun.
this
It was like its own
video
little.
or is this like a
Oh, it
a
is.
bunch
It's
of
quick time.
photos?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, it was just a video. Yeah, could you hear it? It wasn't.
those
anything.
tocos were good.
Could
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah, the tacos
tacos
are
were
amazing.
good.
The steak tacos were
ones
the best.
specifically. Yes,
I like the I don't think I had the steak, but I had the carnitas. They were
bro, you missed out on the steak.
well, sometimes I don't process
The
beef that
carnitas
well.
And
so-
the corn tortillas were legit.
Yeah.
Usually I prefer flour, but I preferred those corn.
So that was cool. And then we had a chance to like properly welcome people because like everyone at the VIP was people that really put a lot into the event and or they were the first people to buy their tickets.
The early
And so-
adopters.
Yeah, exactly. The early adopters. And so we wanted to really
They're the innovators.
Yeah, that's the word. The innovators. There's one little more. I don't know. Basically the same thing. Look at Pedro looking all political. And that was like Jess got to do a little talk there, and
There's McKinsey and Carousel
yeah.
bracelets. They
Yeah.
had a whole business going, man. They stepped it up.
yeah. So you can see that like it says life. One says like SP with some hearts on it. So that was really awesome. Kieran and McKenzie were hustling
Hey,
bracelets.
I didn't know they were gonna be selling them there, and I didn't even bring my wallet, obviously, to like the VIP reception. And yet Max came back and had like a whole handful of bracelets that he had bought because he had convinced somebody to like give him money for it. Because I was like, I'll buy them for you later. I just don't have any cash right now because I knew they were going to be there later, you know. But he already had like a bunch of them.
Max is like, I can't wait till later. Hey, you, give me some cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. That was us in the room.
Okay,
Look at
this is
Caius.
Aristotle, our son, and Caius. They are like 7 or 8 months apart, but look at how identical they are.
Yeah, so it's so cool because Caius can just stand up and walk around. So you could see like every day Aristotle was learning more, just like seeing another little kid, but a kid that's definitely further ahead developed.
Mhm.
And that was a lot of fun. So we were hanging out like that. That was me and some of the guys that are on my TT team. So that was cool. This was us at a meal.
A breakfast.
Yeah. We're
Oh, that's
going.
barefoot.
Yeah.
That was Thursday morning.
Yeah, one of them.
Teaching Sangha.
And
This is how we do it in America.
What?
Oh, put me up.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's fun. You know, it's just throughout the resort, right? You'll have little moments like that where it's like sometimes you'll just be having deep conversations or breakthroughs. So that was that. But here I got some from the actual main event. So just give me a second. There's one more.
Hey, I missed out on the dance party. We'll get to that in a moment, but I was putting Aristotle to bed.
Okay, this is some cool ones. One more screen share. I have a bunch more, but people can see them online. Okay, this is from the videographer. Check that out.
Oh, wow.
That's a great one.
Yeah. So that was the blackout party. So now Friday night,
That's
right?
like a
This is
green
now
screen.
Aristotle.
when we actually have the main event going on. We did like a proper welcome and had hors d'oeuvres and all sorts of food and things. And everyone was dressed in all black. So one of you guys might have some other photos of that too. But that was a blast. Maybe we can walk them through, Drake, of what we did, and then we can go to the Saturday stuff where everyone's all dressed up.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
What do you think, Drake? Yeah, let's share a little bit about that. What was Friday like for you, Drake?
So Friday, man, so I'm just gonna speak from like the event side, not from the like behind the scenes side. But the event was basically on Friday. Everybody registered. They came in. Everyone's in all black, and when I was leaving our room, I was like, well, I look like I'm going to a funeral, right? But then when I saw everybody else,
for your ego.
what's that?
That's literally what we said.
Yeah, a funeral for your ego.
Yeah, exactly. But when we saw everybody else at the event, everyone looked good in all black. Everyone looked really good in all black. It was cool actually. Like it was fun too. And then that night was basically, the first night of the event, and we had it where we basically went over some ground rules. We had like a live in-person Friday night hangout. And then we went through some exercises that were just like, the feedback that I got from those exercises was amazing. Like people were crying. They had like cathartic experiences. They were really grateful for it. Someone was telling me that they were like, there was a moment in that exercise where they were imagining giving themselves a hug, and they felt like they could feel themselves like being hugged inside. And then they're like, but wait a minute, like I'm actually being hugged. Like it feels like I'm physically being hugged. And they opened their eyes, and someone else from across the room had, in the moment that they had their eyes closed, someone else from across the room had run over to them and just gave them a hug in that moment. And they didn't know that, like it was so weird, because we were talking about it, and they were saying like, I just felt like I had to go run to her and give her a hug. And I had to find her, and they went through the crowd, ran over, gave her a hug. And it was at the exact moment that they were like hugging themselves in their mind. It was really cool. After that exercise, we went to the fire and started hanging out by the fire and having some really deep conversations that lasted till like 3 a.m. And so there's Jonathan after our Friday night, which, we wanted to make sure we started off.
This was the human sacrifice part that everyone was worried about.
What's funny about that? So what's funny about that is Max started that fire. Max and I think it was Mackenzie. I think the two of them started that fire. She provided the cardboard, and Max got the coals, warm enough to actually catch fire, right? And then he was telling Jonathan, he was like, "Hey, I don't think you should stand there because there's a fire there and you might get burned." It was pretty hilarious, actually. Yeah. But it was cool because John was sharing in that moment just one of his big takeaways just from that first night. And another cool thing about our group is that, yes, we organize it and we here do the podcast and all of that, but it's not like we are the quote unquote leaders or like it's only us, like only what we say goes or whatever. It's like we have a group where you can stand up and be equal, but you have to stand. It's like I think we talked about it before. Like you can't sit down from the movie 300, right? The movie 300, where Xerxes says, your king requires you to stand to fight with him, right? All I ask of you, and this is like, you can imagine the system saying this, all I ask of you is that you kneel, right? And that's what most people are really comfortable with doing, is just kneeling and like wanting everything to be given to them. In our group, you have to stand, but you can be equal, right? So that was Friday night. You got some pictures for Saturday?
Yeah. Okay.
wait.
So that was Friday. So
Wait, are
then
we muted still? No. Okay.
then you wake up Saturday
Wait,
and
you should share the video I sent you of the blackout, because it's pretty good.
okay,
But
cool.
if you're gonna share that video, make sure you hit optimize for video.
Oh wait, how do we do that?
Okay.
Just do that one separately. You
Share
can try to share it with everything else.
for video clip. Hey, awesome. Okay. Cool. Wow, look at me.
Ninja.
All right, share,
I just hit
optimize
some
video,
ninja stuff right now.
optimize for video, and this one. All right, this is Jess. Was the blackout?
Transitioning inside for
Oh, that's
our
it?
evening session. It's going to be amazing. Let's go.
Are y'all ready to answer the 1% say yes?
Okay, don't show him too much. Don't show him too much.
Okay, yeah, that's where we had the secret meeting. But yeah, and then this, yeah. So anyway, okay.
There's our
That
nerves
was
as
that, right?
well.
So then Saturday, everyone wakes up, some people are up till 3 a.m., 4 a.m., all that, but then you get it up and then, yeah, we went over and then there was a series of speakers. We won't tell you what they spoke about because it was specific training. A lot of it was not recorded intentionally because you got to just be there.
You had to be
just have
there.
to be there. It would do a disservice actually to just like record it and throw it online. And then the afternoon was really cool because then we went out like for sushi. And that was a blast and just, a chance to build relationships. And we had people from Germany, people from Canada, people from all over, and just building a ton of friendships and things like that. And okay, so then here I got some photos from, where is it? Here we go. So I got some photos from Saturday night edited by the
Well,
videographer.
that's from Saturday morning.
Okay.
Not
So
always.
here is
This is our team from Minnesota.
okay, one second. So these are the Minnesota people.
This is everyone who came from Minnesota. Aristotle is just rocking it.
Nice. Is it still optimized for video though?
Why is it so blurry? You guys
Oh,
don't look good.
Yeah, you gotta unoptimize it for video now.
Unoptimized. Let's go.
Yeah,
How's that?
It's not
better. Much
Bit
better.
Better.
Ta-dam.
Nice.
Better?
Look at look at
Yes.
that beautiful Minnesota crew.
Yeah. Yes, that's us. Here, I'll show you. This is I think all the Canadians. Somehow they got over the
Wow.
border.
I was not allowed in this photo.
Yeah.
Kim was very adamant that I was not in this photo.
Well, you're an
Yeah.
American, almost.
That's a good looking crew. Yeah, so there's that. There's these guys, man.
These guys.
Dressed to impress.
These guys.
That was me and Jess and
Look at
Aristotle.
Aristotle, everyone.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. So that was
Somebody
cool.
Smiling.
That's a
that was our.
video.
Nice.
We could
Yeah.
show them our chicken.
Okay, so there's that. Yeah, and then that was Saturday night. So we had like a meal, all the people on stage. Today, the videographer is going to be done with a bunch of the cool photos. So that'll be awesome because whoever spoke on stage, there's at least a few photos of you. And man, we had this was one of my favorite things about the whole event was the fact that, like Drake was saying, there's no leader of the group. So like, yeah, Drake and I emceed and we kind of go back and forth. But on Friday night, I think we had 11 or 12 different people on stage speaking, like total, because there's like Chantel and Owen, Bruce and Kristen, Austin and Jewel was speaking. Just so much. Yeah. Katie and
Joe.
So
Hey, I
that
have a
was
couple of
awesome.
quick videos I can share. They're short.
Yeah.
Go for it.
One I was just looking through my phone. Here's one of the fire nights. Just like this was when Max got everybody to do marshmallows, cigars. I don't remember what night that was.
I think that was the second night because that was the really crackly fire. So I think that was Saturday night.
And then let's see. Share. Here's just another shot. I did a quick video shot of the blackout party. Where'd it go? Can you see it? Oh, here it is. Oh, hold on. So that was cool, like just to see like the view that we had like for that party. And so that was right before we went in for the main session, which was in the ballroom next to the right on this picture. So that was really cool. And then I have a cool video of from the dance night.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, that was that Saturday.
Do you want me to save that one, or you want me to wait on that one?
Oh yeah, show the dance party.
Okay.
So yeah, after the gala, right? And we had like, it was just so cool. You could hear people's like personal testimony.
I'm gonna share a JJ one, a clip I did, and then I'll also share that so you can talk. I'm just gonna find it real quick.
Nice.
Yeah, so we had all different people from the group sharing what the group has meant to them, like helping them save their marriage, the reason that couples are together now, the reason that some of the babies are here. It's like all from this group, all from this movement, which is self-perfected and obviously Technotutor, right? It's the main tool of self-perfection.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing to see. And like Sandra was out there speaking how she's like, yeah, I always wanted to go back to Africa where she's from and like bring clean water to everybody. But it was just like this idea until she actually found this group through her brother Vianney. And Valley was on stage speaking too, and we allowed for people if they wanted to like make a toast to the group and the community, they could come up. So like Kyle and Shelby came up there, and Kyle literally dropped the mic. It was so perfect. Somebody had to.
He did.
Yeah. Joe Jackman went up there. Oh yeah, it's fine. Joe Jackman went up there.
He was a natural public speaker.
Yeah.
Talking about how having all these nerves before he went up to speak, and he got up there and everyone's just cheering him on.
Yeah, he literally got a standing ovation. That was
so good.
And then that led into then JJ was like the final person to speak, and he got to do a little intro before he performed for us. And so that's so cool because JJ, 4 or 5 years ago, the last time he was in San Diego, he was in a rough spot in life and just at his wit's end, but he persevered and he made the decision to say, look, I'm going to figure this out. And then that led him to then finding this group. And now he's been a core part of the community, and he makes all of his music in alignment with the principles. So of course we want to highlight that. So yeah, he did a performance with like 3 or 4 songs. Cameron, do you have a clip of that?
I have 2. One that was really cool. This is a really cool clip, and then I want to play a second one too because it shows all the kids dancing on the stage. It was really cool.
Yeah,
because on his last song, he's like, "Everybody get up here."
Also, Aria was up on the stage sharing like how this group has helped her as well, and that was really cool. That was really impactful.
Can you give some context on that, Drake, for anyone who doesn't really know, like how old
Aria is 5 years old. She's 5 years old, and she was sharing on the stage. This is somebody that I had met like years ago, and they got Technotutor, and obviously I'd met her mom, right? And then it was interesting because they came up, they said, hey, we would like to say something on the stage, or Aria would like to say something on the stage. And what she said was basically from one of the other groups that we have, the women's group, right? They were watching somebody speak within the women's group, and they were talking about anxiety, and Arya noticed like, oh, you know what? I actually experienced that. I would like to work through my anxiety. And it was so cool. If you're in the self-perfected group, you can watch the video of Arya speaking about it. But she was basically just saying, like, hey, mom, can we work through our anxiety using Technotutor? And her mom helped her with that, of course. And then she was saying, yeah, so I used to do these tantrums, whine, get really anxious whenever I would go buy something. And now I don't have that anymore. And it was just so cool because she was being very self-aware, especially for a 5-year-old. But like, just in general, people are not that aware of themselves. You know, people think they are, but like, she was aware of, oh, I'm experiencing these feelings within me and I don't want to. And that's just a program that I don't know how to change. Can I do that? And like, mom, let's do that. Let's change that. And she does it right away. It's super cool, super cool. I also wanted to share.
And she was
as
able to
well-
explain all that on the stage. She's
Yeah, and she was-
5, you know.
Yeah, she's able to
in
express
front of
that to like,
everybody.
you know, 100,
It
150 plus
was
people.
so fascinating because as she was explaining that, I could relate so much because growing up, we couldn't afford to get more than one toy. And so like every once in a while, if we were in the city, like we don't usually go to the city. I grew up in the country, right? It was over 2.5 hours to the nearest city.
You'd have to
And
ride a bike to the city, so it wasn't going to work out.
You couldn't even ride. bike.
anyways. Okay. So like I remember specifically like one time we were in like Toys R Us or something. And like my parents would say like you can only get one toy. And I just remember like experiencing this anxiety. Like I need all day to look at every single toy in the whole store, to put them all in a cart and then narrow it down. And like this whole process of just like over analyzing the situation and just getting like, and then afterwards, like, did I pick the right toy? Should I have picked the other toy? Am I happy with this toy? And just like this whole thing that was so unnecessary. And so when she was explaining it, I was yes, I can relate. I went through the same thing in childhood. And she's 5. Like she's actually walking through that point actively as she's experiencing it right now. Not me, I'm like 20 years later now processing all those points. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
It
cool.
is. It really is. Another thing was like just before that night really got kicked off, one of my friends, just like I was happened to be walking out of the bathroom, he was walking in, and he was like, "Oh, hey, Drake, by the way, girlfriend and I are gonna get married now." Like we had a talk with someone in the community, with Austin actually, someone in the community. We were hanging out by the pool. We talked for a few hours, and we made the decision we're gonna get married. Like that is amazing, because it was fun because it's not just from the event itself, like from the activities that we have scheduled, but even hanging out by the pool with everyone else at the event. That's part of the event. That's part of like, you get even more support from that, you know? And so that was really cool as well. Just seeing, you know, we were mentioning how people's lives had changed and how marriages were saved. People got together. This was just another thing that was happening right here before our eyes at the specific event. I also wanted to share this other thing as well. And I know you're going to share some clips, but one more thing I wanted to share was how Austin was talking about, like, when he would go and talk with somebody, like he's only been a part of the community for about a year, right? But even going and talking with someone, he's like, it felt like I had known all these people. I'm just meeting them for the first time in person for real, but it felt like I've known all you guys for years. And I know that's like not an individual's phenomenon. That's like everyone experiences that at the event, where it's just like, because there's not this awkwardness, like, what are you doing with your life or whatever. We're all on the same page. We're all doing the same process, and we're all like really giving people. And so we can go in there and just like, okay, hey, you're here to create a world that's best. I'm here to create a world that's best. I'm here to create myself to be the best that I can, and not accepting any excuses. Like we have this principle of best for all. And so it's cool because we can skip all the fucking bullshit of like small talk and all that stuff, where it's just like, yo, what's up? Like, let's get into it. Let's talk for real. Let's talk about shit that actually matters. And so that was just another thing I wanted to share about the event specifically, is how much fun we can actually have. And another part of it is because we're all doing this process on our own at home throughout the year. So when we come together, it's just like, it makes so much sense. There's not a moment lost. Yeah.
If you think about it, like for a first event, right, with people who had never been, like, you know, because obviously there was a lot of TT people there, and we've done events before, but there was a lot of people who were not distributors, so that was their first event, you know what I mean, in the context of what we're doing. And for it being the first event and the level of cohesion and everybody feeling like a part of it and feeling welcome and having fun with it and getting like, that's kind of insane, actually. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if you just went to some like men's conference or relationship conference or something, like, it's like you go there, there's speakers, you might meet a couple of people, but you're not like connected to everybody, like Austin was saying. So it shows like the level to which everybody is already a community.
Well, it's the
And I'm sure,
consistency of the consistency of the self-perfected group, and what's even just what preceded that also, like with having all of the technotutor that kind of like founded, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we had the self-perfected group, because it's
Yeah.
like you guys have been doing the self-perfected calls like every Friday, literally without fail for so long. So it's like you do get to have this sense of community, even though it's virtual, but you get to see people, you know, even though it's like a little square, but you get to interact, you get to hang out and everything. And I feel like that is so crucial, because just like you were saying, like any other type of group, what kind of consistency do they have in terms of plugging in and being able to interact with the other members of the community, other than like in a Facebook group or maybe like a quarterly event or something? But this is
Yeah.
like, you have so many opportunities to connect and interact with the other members that are also doing the same thing. It's not like just we're like, oh, just randomly all coming together and like, hey, you're also doing this process. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you've seen
it's
it.
also not just interacting and connecting, but also getting real support in your life that actually makes a difference for you.
all right, like that one
Yeah.
guy like went and called his wife and was like, okay, I'm ready to have kids, and they hadn't had kids,
Yeah.
but they don't have kids, and it's like they've been married for 15 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's not normal for that kind of decision to be made, but it was all the support he was getting and examples and talking about things. And
And it was
you
so
know,
cool too, because it came from him. Like he was having conversations, but it wasn't like,
no one told him you need to go do this or something.
yeah, he was like, look, I see that this makes sense. I'm kind of stuck on it. And he came up, asked me for support, and I was like, oh, you got to chat with these people too. And by the end, it was like,
this just shows that we already knew this, but just the physical experience of the event, it like shows other people too that we have the antidote to all the World Economic Forum bullshit. You know,
yes.
all this bullshit. It's like we have the antidote to it, and it's not a top down, a person telling you what to do or not do. It's just a community of equals where people are pushing themselves and applying themselves and changing, and then other people are seeing that, and it's like a group feedback process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show this.
Let me just show this real quick, just so
Okay.
people can get a little visual here. Like this was all of us just hanging out at the pool. It's like, it's just hanging out, having fun. But like within here, there's probably 7 different conversations going on.
Yeah.
Of people all like there's Avery in there. You can see him talking with Alejandro. So it's like that kind of thing, right? And like I just took a picture of this. This is right outside our room, but it's like you're surrounded by cool beauty and things. Like I don't normally, like we don't have those flowers in Minnesota. So it's this way of kind of expanding like what you see is possible in the world.
Yeah.
And then I had
Can you
this
go
one
back?
too.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Was that?
I was gonna say go back to the other picture, but hang on here real quick. Wait, where you? Okay.
Which one?
All right, I'll talk about the full one real quick. Yeah.
Okay.
This was technically after the event was over.
On
right?
Sunday.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
on
yeah.
Sunday after the event was over. Like you could leave now. You don't have to interact with these people. You're just like, normally what you would do is you go to the event Sunday, it's over. You hang out with the few people that you want to hang out. This was everyone who was still there from the event was just like, this is where we're fucking hanging out.
And also what you don't see is there's a hot tub over there with like 20 people
Yeah.
sitting around the hot tub because they can't even fit in it, like all doing exactly what you're seeing here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah.
And then the picture of the kids. Yeah.
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 Yeah. This isn't all of them, but it was the only one I could really find here.
This is a great photo, and especially because when you look at each of these kids represent a family of people who are doing this process and taking it seriously. And these kids were running around having so much fun, having a great time. This is what we're doing it for, right? For the next generation. But also, this is, for those of you who maybe this hasn't clicked yet, this is why we're going to be here forever. Like this is why this is never going to stop, because they're being raised completely different than anyone else, right? And it's not like some like radical, hard thing to do or anything, but it's just the support that they're given, and they're being actually supported and actually cared for and actually being considered in a way where it's not just like, oh, we're just going to throw you into the system. Oh, we're just going to do what everybody else is doing. Oh, I just came up with this new thing and I'm just going to try it my way and whatever. No, they're actually being supported to be the very best that they can be, the most effective that they can be, where they're going to forever recognize that because it's who they are. It's who they are, right? And so I want to share that because obviously we have relationships that are coming from this group, that are coming together because of this group, getting married because of this group, having kids because of this group. They're being encouraged to do that, not just like a one-off thing of like, oh, I met my husband at this thing and and then that thing faded away or whatever. We moved on from that. No, this is like, I got together because of this thing. I met them there. We were encouraged to get together. We were supported through all of our bullshit. These people were family to us. They are family to us. They supported us to have kids. They helped us with understanding how to raise our kids. Why would I ever want to leave? Why would this? I want you to be a part of it too, because it's going to support you with whatever you're going through in your life and whatever stage you're at in your life, right? And so for those of you, really take heed of what we have here. It's not just this like, oh yeah, that was a cool thing. We're here for the long haul.
Yeah, like this.
We already
is
have the evidence of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Cam, if you have those videos with JJ or anything from the dance party, that'd be great to see. We told y'all multi-dimensional process, right? So we're going like Sunday, Saturday.
I just thought these were really cool. I just want to play these two clips from the dancing. Or you said you want to play JJ. So
if you got anything from JJ too, that would be cool.
Sorry,
It was like everybody was in there.
well, let me find. Here we go.
Nice. Look at that.
Let me get rid of the other two real quick.
Well, we'll come back to those now.
So cool.
Yeah, I'll come back to them, but let me put the JJ one. So there was this one. I'll do this one first. And it was cool because even my voice is slightly still hoarse and it's already been over a week. And this was this was Saturday night, right? So this was the day after we all did that exercise where we were yelling. And you can even hear JJ's voice is totally hoarse, but he's still going all out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here I'll play this clip because I really like this line that he does in it, and then I'll play another one where you can see all the kids dancing. It's really cool.
In the moment, never living in the bag. Got the big face for the bag. Just Vanessa got the bag. This girl like a crazy, I don't know what she be up. Real world Las Vegas, dog, she fought like hero mom. This my game 6, 2012, a wrong song. Drop around alone. This is your hand over on my dog. That's Goji boy, guard up, and that's the door. Take them through the destiny and all the yours, about to know. It's a little dream out here, but that's you.
I like that line. And then I really like this clip just because you see all the kids on here. And it was cool because I was talking to JJ was sharing. I don't remember when we were talking, but he was talking later about, how cool it was with all the kids on the stage at, and he was like, wow, this is where it's at. Like not, some concert for a bunch of people who don't fucking really, they're just there for the energy only. You know what I mean? It's like,
people who
this
are
is-
drunk and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I'll play this part.
Don't be thou when I tried it. The 87 Celtics were the one with the highest champions, been made like champions. Oh, they all champions. Secret of life until the river ate. Their house resident. Smoking a cigar. Cause it's the boss rebel mind. I can buy anything dog, big children.
And somebody actually put the whole video on there somewhere on Facebook, so I'm sure somebody can find it. But it was really, really cool.
The kids'
was
first rap
awesome.
concert. I love it.
Right. It was so cool. Do you want me to do the other one?
Yeah, do the
Oh
other
yeah,
ones.
yeah. Then you had the ones from the dance party, and then we have our new guest joining us
What's up,
after his
Aristotle?
12-hour nap.
12
I'll just
hours.
play one quick one. All right, let me see this one.
This kid knows how to sleep.
I really like this one because it's like you can see Max in there. And so you can have like a big dance party and the kids are dancing. Everybody, I mean, the kids obviously get tired after a while, but this is
I was
just really-
holding Max, and he was like,
Yeah, I was dancing for a
very
while
tired.
holding Seneca, like trying to. Look at that. It was just so cool. And how long did that go on for? Because at one point I had to take Sunny to
He
the
did a
game.
solid 2 we had the room till 11, and we went to the last minute, and then we all hung out afterwards. They
And then
basically
everybody went
forced
to like
us
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Well,
And
first
then
they had
did
to
the
force
after
us out of the
party.
room.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to let me see if I have. Did I put this one on there? There's one more picture I want to share that was really cool from that night.
Yeah, it was super cool. It was a lot of fun. Like people were telling me them dancing, they were like, that was for a lot of people, they were saying that was the first time that they actually got on the dance floor and danced. Like previously they were like just kind of out on the outskirts of the dance floor, just like kind of, vibing, I guess. But they didn't feel comfortable enough to be on the dance floor and just actually like kind of dance and move their bodies, go crazy, And there were a few people that came up to me and they're just like, yeah, no, I really danced. I really put my heart into it, which is really cool because, I mean, everybody knows this, but just to make it really clear, nobody's drinking there, so it's not like, oh, I got drunk and then I just did some crazy moves and I got loose. No, it was like, you're there, everyone's having a good time and dancing. Oh, somebody was saying they didn't have to worry about like anybody creeping on them, because if you go to like a normal club or whatever, people are drinking and then like some guys like drank too much and now he's trying to like come up behind you and do some weird shit and you're like, whoa, whoa, right? And I've even had that at other events that are supposed to be like formal events, and everybody there's drinking, and then you go to the dance party and you're like, oh, come on, like guys creeping up on me. I'm like, hey, come on, let's back it up here. I'm not that kind of guy. Like I'm not
He's like,
that.
well, I didn't want to assume your gender.
Right.
Check this
But
out.
Yeah,
Check this out.
yeah, because that was something Tamara had said too. She's like, I love this because it's everyone here is just real. They
It's
don't,
Tamara. It's Tamara. Okay.
I call her Tamari. Like Tamari sauce. This is a picture of the kids out in the hall, while like the speakers were talking on Saturday night, and they were doing this for like an hour, just like wrestling with each other. It was so funny.
That's
All right,
cute.
there's
so
Aria, Max. I think I see Ben's head. There's Seneca. There's Emery. Right, and they're all between 4 to 6 range. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 to max is 6.5. So that's, I think he was the oldest.
Yeah, but-
Right.
I think Emery's 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Was
think he's
he?
7.
I thought he was
I think
6.
so.
But either
Uh,
way, regardless, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just really, and he came all the way from London. That was really cool.
Yeah.
They were having so much fun.
That's awesome.
So that was Saturday, and then Sunday, it was like, man, it was really cool because Cameron brought on stage a few guys or just people who wanted to share, like breakaways or breakthroughs that they had from the event, and it was so awesome to see the guys step up because it's, you know, like apparently public speaking is this huge fear people have or whatever.
Apparently.
I don't know. I
Dude,
guess
but
I
it's
didn't-
like if you're talking to people who don't give a shit about what you're saying, actually, I can understand if you're just trying to artificially talk. But if you're if you actually care about what you're talking about and you're talking to people who actually want to hear you
yeah.
and you're equal to them and you know that
Right.
and they know that, like it's a whole different thing, you know. And I understand, like, also we do a lot of talking, so it's easier, you know, to just get on stage and talk. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that people could overcome those fears very easily in this group. You know what I mean?
Some
And we
guy-
saw it, like kind of what you were saying. We saw it happen.
Some guy came to our clubhouse yesterday. My mom had invited him from Toastmasters, and he was like, I guess somebody had asked him what is Toastmasters, and he's like, well, you know, the number one fear of everyone is public speaking. It was funny because like when he asked like, what's the number one fear that everyone has, Christine was like, death.
I knew it was public speaking and death. I'm like,
Right.
but he's like, no, public speaking is number one.
but
People
if
would
you're-
rather die.
But if you're actually honest about it, it's like, no, your actual real fear is death. But people like they believe it's public speaking because they're so fucking afraid.
Well,
of
they
it. So-
suppressed the fear of death through religion. So that's why, okay, public speaking is my fear. It's like you're just not
Yeah,
being honest
yeah.
with yourself, you know?
Right. But like, it's funny because for us, it's like we don't have that fear. Like you say, we
Yeah.
talk a lot, right? But also, there were a lot of people who went on stage, and even if they had that fear,
They said,
They
like, I have a
crushed
total
it.
fear of talking. Can I come talk? You know?
yeah, they crushed it because
Yeah.
like you said, it's like these people, they know, hey, I'm gonna speak. These people actually care. So it doesn't matter if I mess up, like they're still gonna be like here and they're still gonna care, whatever. Yeah, we have a phenomenal group. We have something completely different, obviously. But if you didn't come to this event, I mean,
Out.
it's not
You have a whole year. You've been
like-
warned.
it's not just that you missed out. It's like, what do you actually stand for within yourself? Like, why are you here? Why are you listening to this? What is it within you that has drawn you into this? And if you say you want to make a difference, you want to change the system, you like the principles, is that just in your mind, or do you actually want to live it physically? And you know, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to like
No,
down on
but what happens whenever it's like, yeah, I want to make a difference in the world. And then somebody goes, okay, here's the actual physical opportunity right here, right now. Come do it with me. And you're like, oh, I got something I need to do right now. And it's like, and then you want to sit and blame fucking Klaus Schwab.
right.
And those stories about like people deciding to get married. Somebody had said they went home and they made the decision, like, I'm not going to smoke weed or drink alcohol anymore. Even though all their family was like, are you crazy? Why would you not want to do that? You know, like they made that decision. No one told them to do that. It was from being in that environment and support and just seeing for themselves. It's different than somebody who's like pressured into doing something, because then that's not real, versus someone who realizes for themselves.
And that's the difference between like religion and what we have. Like in religion, It's like, these are the rules. You should not drink. You should not smoke. You should,
But
never
everyone
look-
goes and does it behind closed doors. Like even
Right.
the Muslim people, who they are all partying and doing all this stuff behind
Right.
closed doors, and they all know they're doing it, but they pretend they're not doing it. You know,
Right, exactly. It's like, because you're doing it because somebody told
it's kind
you.
of like all those pastors that end up doing like all the weird gay sex stuff.
Yeah, right.
You know,
All
like
those- all those
they preach and they
priests.
preach, but
Yeah.
then, or yeah, all that too. You know,
Yeah.
it's like they're just rules. The person didn't realize for themselves the point. They're just it's authority that's telling them to do something or not.
it's just you're supposed to do this. No, it's like everyone here gets the understanding of like why this makes sense, why this is best, like why for me, you're right. Now I'm considering these points. I don't want to do that. I want to live my life a different way. And so
if there had only been 10 people there, it wouldn't have supported those people to get married, to stop doing drugs, to stop to go and have kids, all those different points. The fact that there were so many people created a point to allow that. And so you realize like, oh, these events, even just by going, is an opportunity to give, and you're going to receive a lot. But the point is, it's like a responsibility to be there and show up and actually create that environment to support everybody. And what it does also is it takes, when everyone goes back home, it takes their participation in the world to the next level. Because imagine now the people coming home being more certain with their clubhouses, which means they'll bring more people in to see, hey, there's an alternative to all the crazy shit going on in the world. And I can actually change myself and better the world and better myself and be a part of the solution and not just go along with everything. Otherwise, that the world's just going to keep going where it's going.
So, someone said from the stage, the real gratitude for, or a way to give when someone's given you some really good, solid advice is to actually apply it. Right. And it was so cool because like there's so much to that. Like to show your gratitude is not just like, oh, thank you. It's like, oh, okay, let me go apply that. Right. And so if you are part of this group and you're grateful at all for everything that you've gotten from this group, then the application of that is obviously doing the process, but that also means in the physical. That means like, come to these events, make it happen, make it a priority to come to these events, because the shift that you're going to have is completely different. It's not going to be anything that you could just be doing on your own. That's what we experience. And
well, look at all the events that happen in the world. It's because people are grouped together by things like football teams, I don't know, music artists and so forth. So those groups of people, even though it may not be obvious, like, oh, I am a fan of the Dallas Cowboys or something. How does that get you to vote a certain way? But it's like you're still grouped and connected to people in a certain way as a group. And so because people are grouped like that, they can be moved around in society by those who know how to do it.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a pawn, I mean, then continue doing it. But if you don't, then you have to stand in a group that has principles in a point of equality, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to support the world to actually shift and so forth. You can't do it on your own, because if you try to do it on your own, you don't realize you can't be on your own, because you're in a system where you don't grow your own food, you don't make your own clothing, you don't. There's nothing you do on your own. You don't. The money you make, it's not created by you. So you're going to be in those other groups without realizing it, which allows the world to continue as it is and to devolve more and more and more. So you cannot do anything on your own. You're either a part of the bigger system, or you're going to be a part of this group, and then within the system support it to change by changing yourself.
Yeah. I want to touch on too then with Sunday. So like we all get up, right? There's a breakfast and all that. And then we had different people speak. And then I had a chance to talk. And then Drake like closed it all out. And that was so good, man. Like, it's like that feeling you get like when you really want to go listen to someone actually like deliver a message, reminded me of like what I actually always wanted church to be. Like you hear the sermon from the person and you're like, wow, like I know that guy's living it, and I can take things from this and live it. And everyone in this room is living it instead of just some theory. It was like, this is what it's all about. And man, I just, people got to get to the next event. So even that alone, I mean, that story you shared of how you like put us in that perspective of like later on in your life, like telling your grandkids the story of how we saved the world. And like that stuck with me so much. And then in the aftermath of it, right? So then event, closes out. We got a big group photo. Actually, let me show the group photo real quick. This is, so even some people had even left already. Some people had like long flights and stuff. But this was our attempt at a group photo. So
It's a good
yeah, this
picture.
was
Not bad for a
yeah.
first event.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad for exactly. And that was just so cool. So shout out Emmy for the photo as well. And after this though, the event just kept going. It was like, okay, it's over. But then so we're hanging out in that main room, and I was chatting with there was a couples there that were looking at starting a relationship based on agreement. And it started as just me supporting them to just see it for themselves. And then a couple other couples came over and individuals came over and started listening. And then more people came over and more people came over. And it was like this magnetic thing.
Like, when does that ever
And-
happen otherwise? You know, like you're talking about something and people just start like, and then it's like becomes like a group, like whole like conference, you know, just like from one conversation you were having.
Like if we have a photo, I'm sure I have a photo, but it was like 40 some people there. And it was so cool because then we had a chance because it was like, sure, I can say what I say, whatever, but I know that I can't always get through to people. So I was like, hey, Christine, how about you share your perspective on, you know, what you wish you knew when you were starting a relationship? And then Chantel shared and Owen shared. And it just turned into this really cool group dynamic for almost like an hour. And by the end, it was like everybody was just even more empowered, had even more clarity. And then we took that party then over to the beach and or over to the pool, I should say.
Oh yeah.
And it just kept going and going. And then some of us stayed through Monday, even through Tuesday. And it just kept going. And I mean, even I left like, by the time I had left, I was like, wow, I got so much from this. You know, sometimes they talk about like the people who really put it on end up then feeling drained at the end and you got to, you know, go take time off and whatever. It was like, I don't know. I just made sure I got enough sleep the last night because I was up, you know, I was running on minimal sleep, but I came back and I was just back to the races. So that
Dude,
was
I did not
that was
sleep the
amazing.
night before. Like I did not go to sleep till like 3 a.m. to 3:30, almost 4 pretty much. And then the next morning was so early. That next morning we had that breakfast early in the morning. And I was
Which
like,
day are you talking about?
the last day, that last
Oh,
day, like because we had that breakfast at like 7 a.m. or something like that.
You come on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So
that breakfast was
funny.
good too, by the way.
Yeah.
The food was pretty
It was
decent.
at like 8 o'clock, Drake. Come on now. It wasn't
It's
that.
just-
I think it
Technically it was 7:30.
We even got there.
7:30,
Yeah,
so-
but we didn't even get there until like way later.
But you didn't go to bed till like 3, and that was like
you
staying
were
up
already
dancing, like-
asleep, Christine. I was still up. Yeah.
But yeah, Drake, how is that for you? Like, what was your take on how then Sunday went and then leading into then like back to
So it was so much
back-
fun. It was so much fun. Just like I said, I really enjoyed being up on stage and just sharing that message. And then even after that, how everyone just continued gravitating towards like the group and wanting to share more and giving more and like the event's not over. You know, it was technically officially over, but it's not over. You know, from that group that you had there of like everybody in a circle just sharing their perspectives, and you're like, oh hey, you're walking by, can you share your perspective on, you know, what are some important things that you need to know when getting into a relationship, or how did you establish your relationship, and you know, those sorts of things. And then that moving over to the pool, and then, you know, all these people just at the pool getting even more breakthroughs, even more like, oh yeah, I get it, I see it, I sharing with others. And then from there it was just like we basically went all day. We didn't stop. We didn't stop. And it was fun because at the end, it's like you actually have something to take home with you. It's not this like, I was given this directive and now I'm just, or I was hyped up and now I'm like, I'm just going to like focus on this one imagination thing in my mind. Like, who cares? Like, you know, if you've been to other like conferences or seminars, or it's just like they hype you up, you feel really good, you go home and you're like, all right, now what? Right? this is like the interactions that everyone has is like, you're not just getting something from the stage, you are, but it's also like, I got something out of this conversation that I had with this person, and I'm going to reach back out to them when I get home. And I talked to this person, and this really changed the way that I think about this and this and this and this. Holy shit. Okay, I want to change these things now. I want to change how I'm going about my life right now. And so when you go home, it's like, no longer accepting this. No, that's out. This is no longer acceptable. This is how I'm going to live. And you're willing to take every moment and consider it. Like, okay, this right here, what I'm participating in right here, is this acceptable or not for me? And, you know, it's like, I've been dealing with this for so long. I'm ready to change that, you know? And I guess to kind of bring it all together, it's really just, no one else can change you or give you this. It's not going to happen in this like one massive moment where, you know, like, oh, I just suddenly had an epiphany and everything changed. But there's, in an event like this, there's so many moments that can be packed into one short amount of time where you are making so many decisions for yourself. You're making the decision, and you're making so many decisions that you come out of it completely changed, where you've gone on a journey essentially to get to, I am a changed person. It's like this process that we do, right? This process of using technology or doing DIP, like being a part of this community, like keeping these principles, living these principles. We forgot to mention how we brought people on stage who had completed the DIP process. And it was like the entire stage, like half the room was people who had done DIP, like completed it. And that's amazing. That is so freaking cool, right?
It was kind of funny because like the whole point was to do recognition.
Yeah.
So everyone could cheer for the people on stage, but
right.
Every time there was like 30 people left.
Yeah.
The thing.
Mostly the people on, like most of the audience was on stage.
Just
It's
on
just
the
like,
stage getting recognized.
It's pretty amazing.
It was pretty funny.
That's really amazing because
Yeah.
the things that we want to recognize, people actually do them. People actually do. It's not like, oh, it's just like some small little contingent in our group. It's like, no, like the things that we actually care about. Yeah, there's the photo. The things that we actually care about, it's like people are doing it in our group. They're making sure it gets done. And that's why our group has this cohesiveness to it, because we actually take it seriously, right? And so throughout that process, what I was saying is throughout that process, you're making decisions for yourself, and you can sort of plot. And if you look at your own history, especially if you've been in this group for a while, you look at your own history, you can tell like, oh, I've changed a lot. And you can go, because I at first had to investigate this. I had to make decisions here. I had to change this. Here's how I got to here. In the same way, like if you look at the kids, it's not like, oh, magically they're genius. It's no, there's a progression here. We did this, which led to this, which led to this, and this, and this. And that's how we have where they're at today, where it's just like, if you were just to meet these kids, you'd be like, wow, these are just like genetic anomalies and they're genius. And no, there's a process involved, and it's systematic and it's replicable, right? That's where we're at with the process for us as adults as well. But at these events, you can go through a lot of that much faster and get support from the entire community at the event and really just push through to get to your next level. All the things that you may have been holding yourself back within, when others are there who are supporting you, and the trust within this group is amazing, right? But when others are there supporting you and you're open and you're being self-honest, you can they can support you to go, oh, hey, look, I know that maybe you would let that slide for yourself, but I'm going to call you out on it. We're not letting that slide. That was one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things about this event is like, I had the realization years ago, just from doing my techno tuner. I'm sure I've shared this story on the podcast before, but if not, I've definitely shared it elsewhere, of not giving tacit approval, right? And what that made me realize is, if I don't speak up when somebody's doing something in front of me, like if somebody were like, you know, dramatic example, if someone were smacking around a kid in front of me, I have to say something, because if I don't speak up, that means I'm condoning that. I'm allowing that to take place, right? They don't know, maybe they don't realize that what they're doing is wrong. Because what are they going to say? Well, you didn't say anything, right? And so just this point of, I had that realization years ago. It was so cool to see at this event. And I'm bringing this up specifically at this event because I would go to other events and I'm like, I have to say something. They don't realize that what they're doing is, you know, this way. And people sometimes, oftentimes, if you're not in a group like this, people don't appreciate that, right? Like they're not looking to be held accountable, or they're not being self-honest with themselves, right? And so for them, they're just like, who are you to call me out? But at this event, there's so many people who've had that same realization within themselves of, this is not acceptable. I'm not going to let that slide. I'm going to support you to see why that doesn't make sense what you're doing. And again, it's not a, you can't do this. It's let me help you understand why that doesn't make sense. And then the person can see for themselves and they can go, oh, thank you. Thank you for helping me see that. Thank you for calling that out. And then we get this experience where it's just like, I'm going to make a different decision, you know, because now I understand it. Now, that's, everybody's so open to that here. It's so cool. And it's not in this way that's like, oh, I'm just looking for the things that everybody's doing wrong. It's just, you're having a conversation. It's like, oh, hey, wait, why are you doing that? That doesn't make sense. Did you consider these points? And like, oh, snap. There's a story of like, you know, these business people getting together, and, you know, one person's just talking about like, you know, I'm stuck here in my business. And the other person's like, well, wait, tell me how you're going about doing it. Oh, well, did you consider this? And the person's like, oh my gosh, this opens my eyes. Like, you completely changed my business. They're grateful for that. That's what we're doing, not just in our business, but in our entire lives, in our relationships, in everything that we want. Like, that's what this event is. That's what we are. So the next event, are you going to be there? Are you going to be, one, there to receive those opportunities for yourself, where you can see like, oh, because, you know, you can explain something over the phone. That's one thing. But when somebody can see you, they're like, wait a minute. Wait, you said this, but I see you doing this.
But also the problem is, when you're doing it over the phone, the context is the person's in their normal day-to-day environment.
Right.
So they'll might hear you, but then they're immediately going back into their same patterns, same routines, same habits, being reinforced by all the same frames of reference. So going to the event specifically, it's different than being on the Hangout. Like, the Hangout is also good. It's just a different, that's the thing that is consistent every week, even without, when the events are not happening. But the event has a specific purpose, because you're in a group. It's like watching a sports game versus going to the live sports game. They're two different things, right? But being out of your normal pattern, it helps you see things that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, because otherwise it's kind of like your environment just lulls you back to sleep in a way.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So you really have to push yourself when you're back in your normal environment. That's also the reason why you have to focus on building the community around you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and the other thing is, you know, you being at that event is a form of giving as well, because it helps us to create that environment. Each individual person is part of creating that environment that is supporting everyone else that's there. It's like you guys used to say all the time, and you still do, but just not as often. You don't have to say it as often. But it's, you show up for the group because the moments that you don't need the group needs you. Right? I know I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much the gist of it, right?
Yeah, it's like we would say, like, you know, you may not need the meeting, but the meeting needs you. It's like,
Exactly.
don't just come when you're feeling bad to get support or whatever. You need something you want to change, because what you're expecting that the other person is there to give you support. So even when things are going well or whatever, you should be there. So it's like with my kids, like we don't feed them when we are feeling good only, you know, like whether I feel good or bad, we all have to eat today. We're still a family. We're still together. You can't just show up some days, you know? So that's really how we should look at it. It's like your body. Like, what if your arm was like, oh, you know, today I'm not going to do what you ask me? Be like, what the fuck? Like, I have a problem, you know?
Yeah.
So that's equality.
Yeah, it'd be cool also, both Cam and Christine, just like, what was your take on Sunday, and then just kind of the aftermath of it? Like, how do you see this continuing to expand?
You want to go first, Cam?
No, you go first,
Um,
Christine. Ladies first.
Ladies first. Well, I dare you, first of all.
We will assume your gender because you do have a baby going inside you, but
Men can get pregnant too. What is a man? A
Mm.
man is defined by whatever they want to be. Okay, so
hey, I was
But
wondering.
why are we defining it?
why
Yeah,
are we fucking
I was wondering this. There's like apparently all these like grants for like minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses. So I was wondering, I was like, what if I just said I was a woman and I could get like $1 million in form of a grant?
I think you may have stumbled upon
You're a
something.
white man, so it doesn't work.
Seriously, loophole.
Yeah.
You know, this is the system now. What you said, Saturday and Sunday, or just like in general?
Just kind of in general, like, yeah, your take from how the event closed out to now how it expands.
Yeah, I mean, the event was awesome. Like, shout out to you and Jess for like totally spearheading the whole thing. And then all the speakers that we had was amazing. For the first event, like everyone said, this has been incredible. Like, way better than I think any of us could even have imagined for something like this. So it just goes to show we've set the standard for the next event, because it's just going to be like 5x, 10x from that. But really, like, just seeing the amount of people that wanted to be there too, and need this community or this type of community, right? Because a lot of people are, what we've said many times, it's like there's like this loneliness epidemic, there's this lack of purpose epidemic. There's like all these things that are just like crumbling society. And then when you come here, and something that I was thinking about too is, we might talk about some of the decisions that people make, and it might sound like they're a little impulsive from an outside perspective, but when you actually come to the event and see like kind of the context, like where these people are at, like for the people that decided that they wanted to get married, for example, like they've been together for 3 years, you know what I mean? And this has been something that's been brought up many, many times, but it's just like something wasn't clicking. And then finally being in that environment and speaking to someone, it was like, oh, now this makes sense. Why I've been holding back, why I've been resisting the point. So it's like, realize that this is what Cam was just saying about being at an event and then just being in your normal environment is so different, because you are like, especially with this, it's like a very life-giving environment where it's like you're around people that want to do better. You want to be influenced by, if anything. Whereas like, if you look at regular society, like look what's being influenced and impulsed right now. Like you're going to be influenced to do all types of like retarded shit, for lack of better words. You know what I mean? Like changing your gender, not getting married, like not having children, like all the things are literally the opposite of what actually even brings and unify, like actually moves society forward. Like that's all literally crumbling. And that's something that's so special. I find that we are still that we have and that we're cultivating, because that's vital. So it's just really cool just seeing the growth of the group, like since I've joined, because I came in about 2.5 years ago, and just seeing where that's that's been what's been created like from that moment. Because when I joined, there must have been not even, I swear to God, there wasn't even 3 to 100 people. And now we have like over 2,000 people. We had like a small percentage of those people come to a live event. So it's just really cool to see what we're all capable of when you're actually serious about taking real action and making decisions and wanting to do, better for yourself. And then also not just for you, but for what you want to create in the world. So, and then I think another point I just want to say is, like, we just had the event. It ended on Sunday, and some of us stayed Monday. Then a bunch of us got home within the next few days. But then what do? We went right back into the Friday night call. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you still have the point of staying connected within the group. And I think that's vital. And then we had our clubhouse yesterday. So it's like people are still able to stay engaged, which is, again, when you go to the event, then you go back home, you're back in your normal environment. It's really easy to go back and say, yeah, you know what? I was just at this event, like, whatever. The highs comes down, and then you're really susceptible to go back into your normal routine or back to your old habits. But there's so much here to support you with the tools as well, because like what Drake was saying as well, with like, you get this hype, this like energy high with a lot of events, but do they actually give you real tools to take home and actually implement the things that you quote unquote got from the event? I would say a majority of the times, no, because a lot of the things that they do at the events is stuff that's like very event specific. It's like doing exercises where you do all these crazy things or whatever. And then when you go back home, it's like, well, now I'm by myself. And like, how do I do that at home? There's no one around me to do all those things. Where here, it's like, no, we laid out for you. It's like, there's a process, there's a group, stay connected and use the tools that we have. It's a systematic point. It's not something that's just unique to one person. It's something that you can take on for yourself. So, I mean, I'm so excited for the next event. And for those of you that weren't there, like, just, you have a year, literally you have a year to prepare and to plan for the next one, because we're only going to keep doing this every year. Like, imagine 10 events down the line. Like, we're still going to be here. We're going to be quadruple the amount of people that we have at this at this first event. So, like, what are you waiting for? Like, this is where we're going, and it's better to be a part of it now than come in later and, where will we be at, kind of thing. It's like right now you still get the cute little intimate group and get all the different support, right? So, yeah, I think that's my take on the whole thing. Can't be.
Your lips
I
are
was just saying,
moving.
I agree with everything Christine said.
Oh.
Yeah. So obviously we haven't announced the next event yet. That'll happen later at some point to be announced. We'll announce later when we'll make the announcement for when the event will be.
It will be in 2024 that the event will be.
TBA.
We'll tell you that much.
Yes. So what are you waiting for? Other than for us to make the announcement? All right. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Like, why aren't you there yet?
Make your little fund.
But the real point of saying, like, what are you waiting for is, like, look, if you didn't attend the event and now you're looking at everything and you're like, wow, I really should have gone. Like, just look at what excuses you had that came up. And those are your points of growth, like to solve or to forgive or whatever the particular points are. Right. And don't give me some bullshit about, the Illuminati,
And the
trying to track you or some schizophrenic bullshit.
Stingray, Illuminaughti.
Yeah. Like,
I
you
could
can
also
make it.
the name of the title.
What is it?
Illuminaughty Stingray.
That's actually better than
Illuminaughty,
Mario.
like naughty, NAUGHTY.
Yeah. Yeah, Illuminati.
Mitch's dad joke.
I don't know why it has to be naughty. I mean,
Wow, Cameron, you're just so fucking proper.
there's so many Illuminaughty Stingray. All right, that's pretty good. I'm looking at Drake typing it in. I like it. Illuminaughty
like the-
Stingray versus Memory Lice. You guys can vote, and we will veto.
Produced
put it
by sounds like Cam's like next rec
Featuring The Weeknd.
no Seabass.
Featuring Seabass. Illuminati Stingray featuring Seabass. Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
my new. That's my new.
Bass, like bass clash.
Yeah. Sea bass.
And C for Cameron.
Well, yeah. That's the whole joke. Oh, you're doing the meta sarcasm. I get it. Now I'm starting to pick up on it.
We're
Are
gonna
we
be
sure?
conversations in the future.
What if retarded people were actually really smart and they were just mocking everybody?
And they're just fucking with everybody.
That would be so hilarious.
That would be
And like literally they're just like, dude, why don't you just
Don't
like one
up, guys. It's getting too close to like Agenda 2030. Like, let's all fucking work together, okay?
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say other than just, it was a great event. And on the one hand, it's like, it was really cool seeing how it all came together, but I was expecting that, so I'm not surprised really, but it was fun to experience it. And I am looking forward to the next one and the planning for that because, it being the first event that we've all put on in the context of Self Perfected, now we kind of know what we can do and it's not even just make better, it's just to expand it and to make it more specific and so forth. So it will be better, but it'll also be bigger, so don't worry if you missed out. Like the key is if you did miss out, plug in. All right. And that'll support you to prepare even more. Hey, Jess, where you want to give your recap? I have to go in like 9 minutes, so we can't
Okay,
do
I
this too
won't-
much longer, but
I won't take that long. All right, everyone. Catch my breath. I just ran up the stairs.
okay, hold on. Before Jess talks, all right, get ready to get hyped up. All right. Because when Jess comes in, it's about to get really hype.
Okay,
So I have to prepare myself sometimes.
but now I feel obligated.
You don't have to do anything that you don't normally do.
Okay.
It'll be enough.
Okay, so first of all, everyone who did make it to the event, thank you. Because each and every person who bought their ticket gave us the ability to put it on. Then each and every person who showed up made the event happen. Because an event isn't an event if nobody shows up. So I just wanted to first extend my gratitude, like we made this happen, each and every one of you. So that's amazing. It wasn't just Mitchell and I, it wasn't just the volunteer team. It wasn't just, all the people who put it on, like it was everybody who went. And also I wanted to bring through like, you guys, this is so cool. It's been mentioned before, but we are just getting started. And so the fact that you all got to go to the event and have one-on-ones with whoever you wanted at any point, like that may never happen again. And so I just wanted to bring through the gravity of what just happened, like really appreciate that and see it for what it is and realize we are probably just going to double every time we have an event from here on out. So if you want to go to an event where you get that personalized support, I could not emphasize it enough. You need to go to the next event. And I'm talking in less than 5 years, we're probably going to be in those giant convention centers, have room blocks in multiple hotels in order to host everybody that we're going to be hosting. So if you want to get in before that happens, like now is the time. But I also want to share, what are you waiting for? Like plug into the community now. Like if you want to get the most out of next year's event, go all out until the next event. Because then that next event, you are going to know without a shadow of a doubt that you did everything you possibly could to be the best that you could be at that event. You invited the most people you could invite. You brought more people into the community. You went all out with your process. If you're a distributor, you went all out distributing Techno Tutor. If you are not a distributor, you made the decision to become one. If you're not in a position to do that yet, you shared with other people. It doesn't matter if you're a distributor or not. You're getting benefit from this process, so you're obligated to share. So share, 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 share. And yeah, we're going to just keep growing and growing and growing, you guys. And if you need any support, like each and every one of us on this call right now, like I know Mitchell and I for sure, reach out, because that's what this community is about. I've never met another community where people are willing to support you with the nitty gritty, with the good, the bad, the ugly, willing to give it to you the way it is, and not to cherry coat it, not to make you feel better, but to actually support you to fundamentally transcend points. But at the end of the day, you have to walk the point for yourself. We can't walk it for you. So I just wanted to bring that through because I think it's so cool. Everything we're building, like this guy, we are building it for him. Like, imagine the benefit he will get from us building this community. Imagine if we didn't, like, he wouldn't have peers that are at the same level as him. He wouldn't be able to build the things he will in the future because he wouldn't have the community to do it. So we're not only building it for us, but we're building it for generations to come. So just realize the gravity of everything that we're doing, everything we've done, and everything we're going to do.
Yeah. And then share. Invite your friends to the hangouts. Invite your friends to the hangouts. Build a clubhouse near you. Invite everybody. People are looking for it.
Don't just start a clubhouse. Like if you don't already have one, you need to reach out to us to do that. Okay. Because we have to go over like the process and all that stuff. So don't just start, because if you just start your own, you're not gonna know what the fuck you're doing. And we don't need like, you know, a clubhouse that's just like, and we're also gonna throw some Islam in there and some Christianity, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of random shit. Like it's gotta be specific. Okay. It's not that you can't apply your creativity to it, but make sure if you are like, hey, I really want to have a clubhouse near me, make sure you reach out to Mitch or Drake or myself. Okay. So it's just a point to look at. Otherwise, is that good for today? I have another meeting shortly.
Let's grow this thing.
All right,
There you go.
everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.